Exaggerating stuff.
Yeah, I thought you were enjoying us last night, but it didn't look that way.
Until we gave him a touchdown.
It was ugly.
Yeah, it was possible.
4-1.
I know.
No, for you guys.
Oh, for us, 8-0. They got walloped.
I stopped.
They started getting runners on base, but they couldn't hit them.
We got some other guys on base. I didn't think we were going to score.
So you guys are off today now, right?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Travel,
no,
play
yeah.
off.
Michael King's going to Friday, so not really. Probably that we gave them the confidence back they needed. Fuck the Yankees.
We weren't supposed to be here.
Oh, I have.
I'm just happy we made it this far. Yeah, the owners saying we're not going to compete for
Yeah.
2026, you think?
Yeah.
Wow.
When the Cubs won the World Series, Matt kept saying we're like a year away.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. Ask you to please rise if you're able for the opening prayer and pledge of allegiance before we convene our commissioners' public meeting. Dear Heavenly Father, you are the God and maker of over all creation. Father, our hearts are heavy this morning with concern for those in the path of this recent hurricane. May your hand protect them from the loss of life and total devastation. Provide them the help, the shelter, the food, and the comfort to get through the days ahead. We've heard of miracles and your love working through people in the most recent storms as neighbors and communities drop everything to assist those in desperation. Help them to recover as they rebuild. And Lord, we see your beauty in the creation of the seasons, the changing colors of the fall foliage, crisp autumn air, and the harvesting of the crops. And on Saturday, we'll celebrate National Farmers Day. We thank you for the men and women and families that put food in stores and on our tables. Their hard work allows us to feed our families. We thank you for the farmer that is the backbone of our country. Bless their harvest this year and years to come. On Sunday, we'll celebrate the creation of the United States Navy on our 249th birthday. We thank you for the approximately 331,000 active duty men and women you called to protect us by sea. May you protect, bless, and provide them safety. We ask that you watch over their families, meet their needs while they're away from home serving. Let us always thank them for their service and protection of our freedoms. We thank you for those that have served with honor. We pray for your hand to be over our meeting this morning. These things we humbly pray in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, good morning. We'll convene the Commissioners' public meeting at this time and ask for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I will make a motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye. We believe we have some additions or revisions to the agenda not previously posted. Director?
Commissioners seeking your approval on the additions and revisions to the agenda that was not previously posted. Under information items, there's correction for the rate of pay for Cody Spiegel from $21.63 an hour to $22.60 per hour.
Can I have a motion to add that to the agenda?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye. Next.
We're going to remove from the salary board meeting the prison to lead full-time LPN position from TDA.
I have a motion to remove that from the agenda.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
All fair side?
That one's already struck.
Then we're going to add agenda item 7.12. Vote to approve agreement with CareerLink to start the OJT program. This is a 50% cost share between CareerLink and the county.
Motion to add that to the agenda item.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any public comment on agenda items at this time? Okay, thank you. Moving on to bid openings. Nikki.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We had a bid go out for the testing and inspection of the Lycoming County Coroner building. This was a rebid. We received two bids. one from Earth Engineering at $2,729, and one from Hillis Carnes Engineering Associates, $2,720.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any reports?
Okay, presented for your ratification are invoices due through October 16th, 2024 to be paid on October 9th, 2024 in the amount of $889,693.47.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Is there any questions or comments? All in favor, side? Aye. Thank you.
On the information items, Michael, like the official personnel.
Yes, good morning. We have two in the informational items for elected official personnel actions. The first one's in the district attorney's office, David Fasano, county detective, part-time, $26.744 per hour. This is not to exceed 1,000 hours annually. Anticipated start date October 21st, 2024. And then in the sheriff's department, Cody Spiegel, deputy sheriff, full-time position, $22.63 per hour, 80 hours per pay period with an anticipated start date October 21, 2024.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just Commissioners Club meeting this time for the salary board. Salary boards this time.
Okay, first we have vote to approve the salary board minutes from October 3rd, 2024.
Motion to accept the salary board minutes.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we have vote to approve the following salary board actions. In the prison, add a part-time LPN to the TDA.
Can
And
I
I,
start with one time?
one at a time,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Yep.
Motion to accept the addition of the LPN.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All in favor, side?
In IS, we have changed the CSS part-time floater and CS administrative specialist titles to administrative specialist / floater.
Have a motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye.
And then in IS, increase the compensation for one administrative specialist / floater from $15.6972 to $16.2122. This will make these two positions equal.
Motion.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Salary boards this time. Commissioners Public meeting with on personnel actions.
Approve the following personnel actions as conditional offers of employment subject to the successful completion of a background check and all other employment conditions as outlined here in attachment A. In the pre-release center, Michael Fitzwater, resident supervisor 1. This is a union position, full-time, $18.64 per hour, 80 hours per pay period. This has an anticipated start date, October 14th, 2024. In the prison, Kate Kustenbauder, licensed practical nurse, pay grade 10, $30 per hour, 80 hours per pay period with an anticipated start date, October 14th, 2024. In resource management, Jonah Inch, work crew foreman, pay grade 6, full-time, $17.18 per hour, 80 hours per pay period. Anticipated transfer date, October 13th, 2024. Also in resource management, Ryan Patterson, equipment operator, pay grade 5, part-time position, $18 per hour, not to exceed 1,000 hours annually. Anticipated start date, October 21, 2024. And then in information services, Leanne Rauch, in administrative specialist / floater. This increased the compensation from $15.672 per hour to $16.2122 per hour to adjust salaries equals as stated in the salary board.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept personnel actions?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Action items 7.1 and 7.2, Michael.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The first item was request your permission to pay for the repair on the cat dozer. It's the low ground pressure one we use for putting the dirt on top of the operations. Unfortunately, had a wiring problem. They ended up having to change the whole wiring harness. Imagine on a dozer, they probably put that on first. There's a lot of stuff they had to pull off.
Motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Questions or comments on this item? All fair side?
Aye.
Okay, second item, I'm requesting your signature on the renewal for the stormwater permit for the Trip property. Every 10 years, and for if you're doing construction on this property, you need to renew the stormwater permit. It just goes over the guidelines and explains what kind of excavation. we're doing. So it's time to renew it.
Have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
7.3, forest. Papa Green.
24th.
Morning. So periodically, Congress appropriates grant dollars for election security. Over the years, they've done that again this year. The program is administered by the PA Department of State, and this is to approve our agreement with Department of State for our portion of that grant program this year, which is the $3,602.54.
Motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, one question for us. Mail-in ballots, how many were requested this year?
So far, we've had about 9,000 of our registered voters request mail ballots, and we've gotten back about 4,000.
Okay.
And starting around the time we sent those ballots out, I guess about 2 weeks ago now, the office blew up. We're getting turned inside out every day. A lot of foot traffic in there. The mail is a mountain every day. A lot of phone calls. This is the busiest time of the 4-year election cycle. Thankfully, we've got a great staff over there, the full-timers, the part-timers. I've got a temp. We have the kind souls coming in even from other county departments, helping us to keep our heads above water. So it's very fortunate we've got those folks over there. They're doing a great job.
And if you have a voter who still wants to request a mail-in ballot, do they have time?
Yes, they have until the Tuesday before the election, October 29th. That's the last day to apply for a mail ballot. The close of registration is actually coming up sooner than that. That's Monday, October 21st. So anybody that wants to get registered to vote in November, they've got to do it by then.
How about absentee ballots?
Absentee is the same deadline, the Tuesday before. And then anybody who did get a ballot in the mail, they shouldn't delay. Sometimes we get a call saying, hey, when should I send it back? The answer is right away. The deadline is 8 p.m. close of polls on election day, but the mail is all over the place. We get people that get their ballots in 2 days. We get people who it takes 2 weeks, and it doesn't make sense because they're taking one trip to Harrisburg and a trip back up, and it takes 2 weeks.
And if a person requested a mail-in ballot and they want to return it in person, what do they need to do?
They can return it in person, but they can only return their own. The only exception to that is that if a voter has a disability, there's a form they can fill out to state they have a disability. They need someone else to hand deliver their ballot for them. And it's a good idea for people to consider hand delivering their ballots to bypass the mail, because it unfortunately just can't be depended on the same way anymore.
Are they required to bring their ID when they return in person?
No, they don't have to have ID. There's not an in-person, ID requirement in Pennsylvania, except for in very specific circumstances out at the polls. Someone's voting for the first time ever, or for the first time at a new polling place, they would need to show an acceptable form of identification.
So when they return that ballot in person, they hand it in, how does the voters know that that's that person?
Well, because we've already verified their identity up front. So any application that comes in, a ballot's not being issued unless we tie it back to a registered voter. And they're providing not just their name on that application, but their date of birth, an ID number in the form of social security or a PA driver's license. And when we take that information and run the ID check, we're looking at that entire combination of data points, make sure they connect back to a real person. So it's like if you're ordering something online, you're not just giving them the credit card. They're looking at that credit card number in conjunction with your name, the expiration date, the 3-digit security code. You can't just make up any one of those data points because the whole transaction will fail. And it's the same way with doing a voter registration or applying for a mail ballot. That name has to match the date of birth, has to match the ID number. And if any of those things don't match, it creates a fail that then we'll look into.
Okay, thank you.
If someone gets a mail-in ballot, but doesn't send it back,
Yeah,
can they show up at the polls?
they can. And if they have the mail ballot in their possession, they have the ability to surrender that to the poll workers on election day, and they can vote a regular in-person ballot. If they don't have the ballot because the
They
mail
lost it or
it didn't get
whatever.
there, they can do a provisional, and we are able to count that a couple days after the election. We have to compare the provisionals against the mail ballots that came back and make sure we didn't get something already in the mail from that voter. So we're doing that check, but then we're able to count the provisional ballot.
But they can't take the mail-in ballot and turn it in at the poll. They have to do a provision.
Not to have the mail ballot count,
Right.
no. It's our polling places are not drop-off sites for mail ballots on
Right.
election day. The only thing they can do with it there is surrender it to vote in person. If they want to drop off the mail ballot to be counted on election day, they can still do that at voter services all day long until 8:00 PM. And I actually remember in 2020, we had some people who were running down the hall to the office at 7:55 PM, right at the end, so they can do that still that day.
And can you answer this question so the public knows, is there not drop boxes in Lycoming County?
There are no drop boxes in Lycoming County currently. That is a policy area where the election code is silent. And so it falls to county boards of elections to make local decisions about what is the best fit for that county.
Great, thank you.
The last thing I'd say, in the prayer this morning, talked about the hurricane, and boy, the election officials in those states are going to have a terrible time in the coming weeks. North Carolina, Florida. I know that's not the immediate concern, but that concern is going to come up. And for those folks, it is an immediate concern because it's going to take time just to assess the damage, to polling places. Did they have poll workers die? How many ballots got lost in the mail? How do you, assess all that, recover for that? How are those people going to vote on election day? Some of them could be voting under tents. Elections are like Broadway. You've got to find a way to make it work, but they're going to have a tough time doing it down there. In addition to all the other, immediate problems they're facing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Leslie.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
7.4, requesting your approval to renew our video conferencing software in the amount of $14,900. This is in the 2024 budget. And this allows the courtrooms to stream live.
Right.
So we use it quite often everywhere.
And this is great for the courts to use because then as they utilize it, there's less transportation of inmates from prison system to the courtrooms. It allows for more safety measures to be put in place and just more cost effective. But for safety reasons, it's much more effective. Appreciate the courts using the video system as much as possible, cut down on those costs. For instance, if you have to bring an inmate back from a state facility, it could be a 3 to 4 hour drive, maybe one way for 2 deputies to go out and get that inmate, bring them back for maybe a 10-minute hearing, and then they have to return them when they could have the hearing through video conference. And plus the safety along the ways of those deputies and the transportation. So Thank you. And I have motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All on fair side?
Aye. I think it's probably important at this point. We understand that in the legal system that they always have the right to be present. The incarcerated, we can't force them to do it over video conferencing, but lots of times for logistical reasons, they would rather. And not only is it beneficial for the county for cost purposes and safety purposes, but it's beneficial to the inmate as well. So, but we realize that they always have the right to appear personally in court, and we never deny that. But there's lots of times they don't want to appear in court because of logistical issues.
Thank you.
And then to go with them, I mean, this was a software renewal, but then 7.5, seeking your approval to approve updating the video conferencing equipment actually in the courtrooms. I know there was a question the other day during one of our meetings about maybe being able to see if we could do these next year. End of life came in June of 2024, and we're on our 24-day extension at this point. So it is something that we should move forward with. This would cover 4 video conferencing units in 4 of the courtrooms for a total of $31,932.08.
This would be accurate.
Oh, thank you, Maya.
Great. That's good to hear. Great. Okay. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
7.6, seeking your approval to remove 5 copiers off the current Marco contract. This will take the current copiers off. We added them to the new contract at a lower rate.
Great. Good news. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
7.7, one more. We needed to do a phone service upgrade recently, and our current vendor is unable to support our alarm lines in the courthouse and 3rd Street Plaza. So this is a contract to be able to allow to have alarm lines and elevator lines and a domestic relation line in the amount of $440.67 a month. And we're hoping that comes down a little bit because there are some taxes and fees, if you will, associated with that. And we're hoping that that comes down once they get our exempt information.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7.8 through 7.10, Maya.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
7.8, vote to approve the list of contracts approved by the Director of Administration. That's for the month of September, and then we had 14.
And a lot of them have to do with legal representation and interpreter services.
Which most of them would be renewals.
And motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any question on any of them? And all fair side?
The next item, vote to approve the agreement with Quality Air Mechanical Incorporated in the amount of $14,000. This is for the prison, for the water supply to the building. When they were doing an inspection, they found a problem with the main line source, some deterioration of the line. And when we were talking, it was determined there was going to be a large increase on the cost if we waited till next year to have it done. In addition to the fact that it's the main water supply line to the prison. So if that fails, then there's bigger problems. So we decided to move this forward in 2024 rather than wait to 2025. The good news is that got 3 quotes, got the lowest, bidder on that. And in addition, I think this would be eligible for Act 13 as well, because it would be repaired to Public Works.
We keep thinking that the prison's new and it's actually 38 years old now. And it was built in 86. And so it's continued to age like all the buildings.
Yeah.
No.
And, we're still going to be cutting it close because, it is an older unit. So it's going to take time for the supplies to come in and get them acquired. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Then the last item I have for you is vote to approve the strategic management planning program grant. That's with the Department of Community and Economic Development in the amount of $200,000. This is the grant that I actually last year put in. We finally got approval. This is to help offset our costs with our new financial management system, which we hope to start in 2026.
Very good news. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All fair side?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Great, thank you.
7.11, Shannon.
Morning, Shannon.
Okay, commissioners, this is the vote for the release of the RFP for the phase 2 cross pipe bids for the Williamsport cross pipes. We are currently in the bidding process for the phase 1. We would expect to have the phase 2 out for bid on 10 bid by Thursday of next week. And then we would be looking to have a mandatory pre-bid meeting probably on Monday, October 28th. Bids will be due by November 19th, and then we would open them publicly at the November 21st commissioners meeting. So this is so that we can have both phase 1 and phase 2 under construction by the required date for the EDA grant that we have of $5.6 million. So the first phase was for 4 cross pipes of a specific type of rehabilitation. This phase 2 is for 25 cross pipes, and there will be various methods of rehabilitation that are of a different type and less expensive than the original.
Okay, good. And the anticipated time of construction will be in January?
We need to have this under construction by January, yes. Mid-January, we need to get them in there and start at the latest. If we can get this approved sooner, we will get them under construction in December if we can.
Great.
This is not disturbing earth for the most part. This is doing work inside the pipes or doing work at maybe the entrance or exit of the pipe. So it's not going to be, we're not digging anything. This is actually underground work that's being done on the pipes themselves. So.
With actual work on a levee.
Oh, yeah. In the levee.
In the levee.
Not even on the levee, in the levee.
Good. Okay.
This may be a dumb question, but like what is the process of, what is the labor part of getting the bid out? When you say.
We have, because pipes have to have a certain capacity, they have to release any stormwater at a certain rate. So, and then there are grant requirements from EDA. So the pipes have to be videoed every so often for inspection purposes. And from those videos, they make a determination, our consultant makes a determination of, okay, what's wrong with the pipe? How can it be repaired? What are some of the methods that are in compliance with the permit of the pipes to repair them? So they do the design and put all the parameters together based upon the requirements for the pipes. Then, because this is grant money too, we have to get the bid reviewed and approved by EDA. And we also have to get the design and any permitting necessary approved through either Army Corps or DEP. Now, because these are existing, there isn't any kind of environmental permits for this part of the levee because we're not disturbing ground. We might be adding a little something to the head wall or end wall on the pipe, but we're not actually digging because these pipes are already there. But all that has to get approved before we go out to bid. And sometimes during the bidding process, we're required to have the bid out for at least 4 weeks. That's a requirement of the grant. And because there's 25 pipes, we have to make copies of the videos. So we have to get those to the consultants and so they can review them also. So it's quite a large project.
I just wondered why, because when you said like, we'll be able to have the bid out probably by next Thursday.
Yeah.
I was just wanted to, an explanation of like
it
why
has-
we couldn't do it this afternoon. all the
Well,
stuff that went
because
into it.
Army Corps had to review and approve it, EDA have to review, EDA has to review and approve it. Maya has to have a chance to make sure all our county requirements are in there. So it's,
Legal advertisement requirements.
legal advertisement requirements, Davis-Bacon requirements. It's just a whole lot of
Even
stuff.
before you put it out to bid. Okay. I think it was a good explanation. Because people just wonder. I'm sure people heard it because I was just like, why don't you just post it this afternoon?
Yeah, it doesn't magically,
It doesn't.
there's no magic. Unfortunately.
Any questions?
No, I'm good.
Motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
I'll say.
All fair side?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7.12, Michael.
Hi, good morning again, and thank you for accommodating this last minute request on here. So this is a vote to approve an agreement with CareerLink to start the OJT program. This is our clerk that we have currently, Aubrey. This is her next step. She was with the paid internship program, successfully completed that. We like the work she's done, so we want to move her to the next portion. So last week, we publicly approved her for the continuing on for employment. So this one, as we go with CareerLink through this program, they'll pay 50% of her salary for the next, which we kind of looked at 6 months, kind of developed a training plan to get her further, I guess, progressed in the job duties and everything, and starting to learn more systems and stuff like that. So then CareerLink will pay half of her salary for for about 6 months. So it's really no cost to the county. It's kind of just a partnership with us and CareerLink, which we kind of started earlier in April, maybe, with different programs. So between this program and the paid internship, we have one other right now in the paid internship, working for the public defender. We're looking to try and bring one more on as well. We're seeing the benefit of utilizing the people that they have, and then we're trying to teach them some different skills, government, business skills, different things like that. Where if they choose to stay, great. If they don't, they have some great knowledge that they can take with them, and a glowing recommendation from us.
Great.
Yeah, just to add to that, I was at a conference or meeting, whatever you want to call it, earlier this year. And it was multiple counties, elected officials, local business leaders. And CareerLink made a presentation about all the different programs that they have. And as I was listening to it, after we were done, I said, can you do that they're mostly talking private sector because there's way more businesses in the private sector. But I said, can we utilize you guys as well? Can you? And they said, absolutely. And as we said, we've started, I guess it was April, since Mike came on, and we love what they've been able to do with us. And I have recommended it at following meetings. I've recommended to other counties. I know CareerLink is just seen, they deal so much in the private, in the private sector, but we've had great success working with our CareerLink, and I recommended it to the other counties as well, because if you don't know, there's CareerLink stations all over the state. So we're thankful for them, and yeah, it's a good thing, and we would encourage anyone, if you're in the public or private sector, we would encourage you to contact your local CareerLink, especially the one right here in Lycoming County, because they have lots of different programs for lots of different people at stages of life, I guess would be a great way to put it. And they can help.
Anything you like to add? Anything you like to add?
She gave me the statement to read. The county of Lycoming has been great to work for. Mike is spectacular, and the staff. That's about it.
You really want this to work, don't you? That's great. We enjoy the partnership. Thank you.
Was spectacular in all caps.
It was, and italics.
Okay, I motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank the entire staff of CareerLink. We appreciate all they do. Great, thank you.
Comment.
Gentlemen, have any comments?
I just wanted to add to the voter services portion of the meeting for today. As a county, we added a parking spot at the rear of the building so that early voters don't have to find a spot in downtown Williamsport to park to come in and do their service of voting. So for anybody that doesn't know, voter services is at the rear of the building at 33 East 3rd Street or West 3rd Street. The parking spots in the rear, you just come in the back door, and voter services is the first door on the left. Very simple and easy for you to show up, and that. So I want to make that aware.
And that spot is the middle commissioner's spot, right?
Middle commissioner. I took a spot from maintenance.
Any spot's good as long as it doesn't get out of the way.
That's true. Good point, John.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, it is. It's one of the maintenance spots out there. So yeah, that was requested.
It's hard to read it, but it is on the sign.
Yeah.
So.
And if it does get towed, send the bill to Commissioner Museum.
Why would you send it to the Democrat?
Oh, here we go. There we go.
That's basically all I have.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything?
I just wanted to say, I'm obviously we're a long way away from Florida, but when you're on Facebook, you see how many of us have friends and relatives in Florida. What happened last week, even down the Carolinas, we obviously, a lot of snowbirds, a lot of retired people who've made their way down the East Coast. And it's even though it doesn't affect us, it does affect us. And we have friends and coworkers and family members. And it's just, it's a reminder of how, I don't know. I mean, obviously people had the chance to evacuate because of our advanced systems now, technology. We knew it was coming for a week, and people had a chance to get to safety if they, so chose. But still just the devastation, the recovery, you realize how we saw in Trout Run, how people's lives can be, just overturned in hours. Mm-hmm. And it's just sad and unfortunate, and support those people who are here that kind of feel helpless because they have sisters and parents and grandparents and siblings down there that they're worried about. I know I talked to one today, still hadn't heard what the damage was because the power's out. They couldn't get out. So just keep those people, support those people that here, but their hearts are other places.
We know a lot of our local people have gone down to help, and people that donated things, and we just want to thank everybody for reaching out and helping in any way they can.
I think it just, one of the things that amazes me with all that is we always talk about the divide in this country. But when you see a disaster like that happen and how many people here locally put together tractor trailer loads of product that headed south, it really shows me we're not as divided as some like to pretend we are. We will all help each other as Americans almost every day. And I just think that shows it even at a stronger level.
Public comment?
Any public comment from the audience? All right, John.
Morning, how you guys been?
Good. How you
Not
doing?
bad, too bad.
I haven't seen you for a while.
I do have a grandson that moved down to St. Petersburg last June,
Oh, is he okay?
and I have not heard he was getting hell out when I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to be an employee of the county come November the 5th for a day, like a couple hundred other people do. There's been a lot of controversy since the 220 presidential election, and the rhetoric still goes on today. But my main concern is there are about 80 polling places in Lycoming County, and I am a minority inspector of elections for 3rd Ward. And what is in place hypothetically if an incident takes place at a polling place, an incident causes trouble? How soon can the county get help to the polling place? I think you know what I'm trying to ask. I know some other people have the same questions like.
We've been reassured to contact your local officials immediately. They would respond. your local police departments if there would be any kind of an incident. Is that correct, sheriffs?
Okay. And the other thing, what is we as poll workers, if somebody does try coming out, what are our limits and what we can do?
Call 911.
Yeah, I would say just call 911 and if we have a representative from the sheriff's office, could you like to respond to that? Call 911?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just bringing up some questions I know other poll
Yeah.
workers have.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the flood or the hurricanes going through. What Florida and everybody else has gone through with it is just a terrible shame. But when you have and I'm going to get political today a little bit, but when you have a former president running for reelection, that side making up all kinds of rumors like FEMA funds were diverted to people, illegal immigrants and things like this. This does not help the situation at all. And to rip the governors of those states and make this political and keep on making it political, there's no room for that from either side.
okay, thank you. John, can I ask you a question? You gonna be at the Veterans Parade down in Muncie?
Huh?
Are you gonna be at the Veterans Parade down in Muncie?
No, my back doesn't take that.
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
I wish I could, but
Okay.
last one I was to, it was,
Pretty sure. I saw you up there, yeah.
that was warm that day.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
No, my back doesn't take that.
Okay. All right.
Wish I could.
Yeah, have a good day.
Wish I could. My brain tells me that I could, but my back tells me no.
Yeah. All right, anybody else? Yes, Mr. Stout.
Hello, my name is Larry Stout, and I am representing the Clinton Township Volunteer Fire Company today. Even though I've had something like, I don't even know how many, like 100 hours of ambulance driving, fire, police, basic firefighting. Right now, I'm done with all that, and I am the information director, and I have some great information which actually came from the lyco.org site. You might want to check that out. It's a good place to find things. And there is a section there, I'm not even exactly sure, under public safety, PA Department of Health Volunteer Rescue Recognition Program, the VRSR. And what this is, it is the purpose of this program, which is from Harrisburg, is to recognize those emergency services that can be safely and efficiently perform rescue operations. And there's 9 of these: agricultural rescue, collapse rescue, confined space rescue, industrial rescue, rope rescue, transportation rescue, plane, train, and automobiles. And I'm not making that up, that's in your site. Trench cave-in rescue, water and ice rescue, wilderness search and rescue. And an emergency service may be recognized in any one of or a combination of any of these disciplines listed. This document does not take into account the equipment and hardware requirement, but includes minimum manpower and training requirements. Now, in this, there's 3 categories. There's the first response, that's the lowest, then operations, and then advanced. Advanced is where you have the equipment, the training, the manpower, all of this. It turns out that the Clinton Township Volunteer Fire Company has received the advanced standard, the level I tried to find out in 2024 how many have got that, but AI only has from 2023. Out of 1,800 volunteer fire companies in the entire state, 29 received that award last year. So this is an amazing accomplishment, which was brought up on Monday at our meeting, and it took maybe a minute. Yes, we won this award. Now, the next thing, they just went right through, because to them, this is just, this is what we do. And I am just absolutely astounded at the amount of responsibility for this one township fire company. Has, we got a natural gas electric plant. We've got sewage treatment center, agricultural farms, heavy industry, natural gas and petroleum pipelines, railroad line, a major section of state highway, a large section of the state forest, 17 miles of Susquehanna River, which, by the way, is dangerous. State women's prison, a public school, private airport, really near where I live, and a municipal golf course, an Amish community, residential homes. I mean, and we got to be trained for all this stuff. I mean, all of these require something, and to be able to do that is, to me, just astounding. And the person who really is the one who makes it all work is Todd Winder. Todd is, this year is his 25th year as the fire chief for Clinton Township Volunteer Fire Company. I know he's not timid about his opinions if you talk to him, but in an emergency, he's the guy you would want right there. And so I'm just wanted to bring that to your attention. It's actually on your own site, but I think that's an incredible recognition for a group of people that, to be honest, those meetings sometimes are hard, because when they're talking about, you're not rescuing, but you're finding a body from the, in the river. When you have to take that body to the people that, these are tough things. These are things that we don't see in normal. You don't even see it on television. The things that you have to do when you're dealing with, well, as Todd would say, the worst day of somebody's life. That's usually what we get to have to deal with. And you're doing it again and again and again. So these people, to me, deserve all the praise, and just wanted to acknowledge a really incredible group of people.
Thank you, Larry. And, we know that since 1980, we used to have 300,000 volunteer fire personnel in our state. It's down to 30,000 here in 2024. It's a crisis, and to have what we have in Lycoming County, we're blessed. In your neck of the woods, it's an outstanding fire hall. I've been over there many times. These individuals, they don't get paid for this. A lot of this comes out of their own pockets because of equipment. They leave their homes, holidays, nights, weekends. Drop of pager going off or the alarm going off, and they run out and they run into dangerous situations. And where most people flee, they're running into them to save lives. They're the backbones of the community. They're those special people that are heroes, and we could not do it without you and those type of individuals in our communities. We're very blessed to have a lot of those departments in our own county, of those 30,000 that remain. And unfortunately, they're dwindling in number. Hope they grow, and they're doing everything possible to make them grow through different programming. And so please extend our thanks to your department and for this distinguished honor. To be 29, one of 29 is tremendous. And when you go through the list of diverse, their responsibilities are over there. From the railroad to the river, to the Amish communities, to the farming, to highways. The general public doesn't know that. And you listed probably at least a dozen there that you have to have training in order to respond to those type of emergencies. And Todd is an outstanding chief, and it's a great department. So thank you.
He's a great teacher too, and he doesn't slack off on things. When we are returning from an event, do you ever notice you never seen a dirty fire truck? Because when you get back, you got to wash the truck. You're exhausted. This has been, you've been out there, 12 hours or whatever, fighting a fire. But you know what? got to restock it. You've got to make sure everything is ready so that if that bell goes off again, you're ready to go. And I just find that astounding. That you're doing as volunteer. All you get, you don't even get a pat on the back. It's like a you know, you're just barely seeing the tip of the iceberg of what actually goes into it. And to be perfectly honest, I don't, Harrisburg doesn't help in a lot of things. And when you get extra response, things that have to be done, paperwork, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it makes it more challenging.
Yeah, thank you.
But all these kind of companies like what else?
They do, John. They really do. We're very blessed.
Plus, spawning over into the valley, Tom, all the schools. That's river, all that.
Yeah.
So, all of it.
And if there's any way you can support your local fire department, please do so because they need your help. Thank you. Anybody else from the audience? Anybody online?
Yes. Lyco Secrets, Clove County Commission. Thomas Adams. Morning, Commissioners in Lycoming County. Thank you for your service and your sincerity for the goodwill of our county's citizens. Curious to know if your election board will follow our election laws regarding overseas ballots. The TOS has advised officials to forego the verification. Why? I think that directive must be ignored. Also, Governors Wolf and Shapiro have worked to allow illegal immigrants driver's licenses. Starting with Wolf September of last year, Shapiro pushed for motor vehicle registration for legal immigrants to voting. Will our county verify citizenship, especially with the mail ballots? Thank you, Forrest, for your work. I only ask these questions for different scenarios that I think should be considered, especially citizenship verification. How is that done? I think God is always trying to reach us every day through triumph and tragedy. Failures of overreaching government must not be confused with the good. People actually are doing the best they're able within the agency they represent and work. Biggest problems come from people removed from a situation and want to rule by a strict protocol without being involved in current and rapidly changing situations. Prayers to all the people in the great distress, worker government, nonprofits, individuals, and victims. With issues in our communities, it's not a surprise when things present themselves in our schools. There's a Safe to Save program in some school districts and encourage students and everyone to talk with trusted neighbors struggling. Offer to talk, feel that might be a dangerous situation, contact local officials to aid in knowing the best approach. We all need to be involved in thwarting crime abnormal and possibly or situations. Our kids are always watching us, and we need to be the best and positive examples we can be a part of the solution in a negative approach too. This one's from MG. Please comment on the progress of the CC construction of the mall and whether the developer is sticking to its original plans or is requesting a zoning change to bring in low-income housing. I go back to Thomas Adams. Not a negative approach to thwart solutions. Thank you, John, for your work. FEMA has admitted to using funds for for supporting illegals. A, seems Trump derangement syndrome is allowed without criticism by our commissioners. Thomas Adams. A comment disappeared concerning students talking. Trusted authorities if they notice or know of something or someone not right or possible problems with others or surrounding conditions.
We have reached out to the mall about this most recent rumor about changing zoning, trying to get zoning changed to bring in low-income housing or illegal immigrant housing, and it's false. So the developer says that is not true. So, yes.
Nobody that comes to the polls really prove that they're citizens. Okay, you've got ID.
John, could you stand up for a second, please? It's hard to hear, so could you come back up? Because the air is on.
Sorry.
Thank you. We'll make sure we can hear you.
I hear this a lot about coming to the polls and whether you can present proof that you're really a citizen of the United States. Nobody really can. You have ID. But what ensures in the Lycoming County, you might not have ID, but when you come in, you have to sign the signature. There's another book there that has to match that signature. And if it doesn't, you don't get to vote. That's one power that's one thing is in place in Lycoming County, whether you have ID, because ID can be forged. But what you have to go by, and especially if you're local, you know who people are, but it is the signature matching. And there was one person who got caught in Lycoming County for trying to vote in two different places, and that's probably what got him in trouble. But that is the one thing. But I can't prove whether I'm a citizen of the United States. We all can't. I can to a certain extent with everything. But my relatives come into this country in the 1700s. They had no papers. We helped found this country and that. And there are, all these stuff about illegal aliens. We have enough bad people in our own race. There's good and bad, and no matter what race of people or where you come from. But that is the thing in Lycoming County. Get to know your people, and the signature matching. That's what counts. That can't be forged.
Okay, thank you, John. Okay, we've completed our agenda. So we will be adjourned till October 17th at 2024, 10 a.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.